coming to my speech today. My name is Samantha, and my speech today will be on how America is starting to overwork. Okay, America has been actually clocking in like a 9 to 5 job, 9 to 7 hours between there, and that's becoming the new normal. And the new normal, which is sad, but it's where we're starting to overwork, and which comes into many effects and why it's taken away other opportunities that we have, time with our family, our loved ones, and the jobs, in my opinion, have become less meaningful. One of the first points is America, more than a lot of people are making less than $30,000 a year, which is pretty sad, and that is causing them to work more, because then again that will fall under the economy, and the economy is going down. Things cost more, prices cost more, living, generally everything costs more than it did in the 70s, which then falls back into my next point. My next point is that back in the 70s, they said that they thought by the 2000s we would be working less, and unfortunately they were wrong. I think they were wrong because they didn't put into fact that we do have lots of technology that did change the way our jobs will be working. With technology such as like computers, smartphones, and all that stuff is adding jobs, also eliminating jobs. So now they expect less employees to do the same amount of work that they could have done back then, but with more employees, because they think the computer can make up for the work that they're missing, which then causes them to overwork. Okay, next, leading on to my next point, Schneber, a professor, he wrote a book. He did a studies, actually found that in the United States, workers are working a lot more than the average worker anywhere else. Any other country, we outpass Japan and China, which they are also known for overworking, which is surprising in my opinion. That will fall under why, then you're probably wondering now that I told you guys about why we do overwork so much and why this is important to you guys right now, and that's where I'm going to my next point. This is super important because it's taken away from things that actually matter to us, such as our kids. A study shows that kids, we see less of our newborns 6 months to 4 years than they used to in the 70s, because we put the kids into daycare once or 6 months after maternity leave, and they go straight to daycare until they're at least 4 and they go to school. So we do see them less, which unfortunately that is a thing that's going to happen. And that is another thing that we should work on. That's another subject. Okay, the next thing is we have a high risk competition now because people want the money, so they're going to do more work. And studies show that actually the work that we're doing now is more of a pointless work, because we all have that what the professor said is a 90% brain function. We think more in that what everyone else does. That's you have to go to work 9 to 5. We have to do that 9 to 5 shift in order to make enough money 5 days a week for at home. But if we can get ourselves into that 5% mind shift that many people do not say, which Schneber said again, we could be working less and actually still making the same amount of money. There shouldn't be a reason we should be working so much and making this amount of money. Which goes back to the competition part. So everyone's competing for that job, a high-paying job, because they think that's what's right. They think that they're competing with other coworkers, and that's what's going to get them to the spot they should get to. So that's another really big problem that we have. And again, like this is just taking time away from things that we actually can have. Like, studies show that we take less vacations, we retire later, we start our days earlier, and we end our days later than any other country in the world. And that was that recently came upon in the 2000s, which was very surprising to me. That was only in the 2000s that's happening. That was like early 2000s. If you go back again to the 70s, like I said in the speech, is that they thought our work hours would get less and less throughout the years. But unfortunately, they were wrong. It's becoming more, which is the complete opposite. And we should really learn how to change that. We should all, as Americans, should get our mindset into that thing that we don't need to be working 9 to 5. Because most of the time you are doing pointless works, which does. Okay, let's go next to my next point. Again, on this pointless thing. They actually did a study saying that most companies will actually just give you busy work to keep you busy for the 9 to 5. But that busy work is irrelevant, and you shouldn't have to be doing work that's not your work. Which again, and that does lead a lot of employees to overtime because they get their work done and other people's work done. Which gets to my next point and my final point is overtime. Salary workers are actually getting less benefits than wage workers because salary workers are working way too much to keep up because they have their schedules and they get a salary, so they have to stay whenever they tell them to stay. So they're actually getting a lot less work compared to hourly wage people, unfortunately. And that's why I believe America's working too much. Is we're taking the 9 to 5 now to a 9 to 7, and that's becoming our new normal. And I think we should work on changing that. And I believe we work too much, and we should enjoy our life more. And that's it.